Welcome to my channel, guys. I want to do something a little different with you guys. I wanted to let you know why I came to do the YouTube channel and my reasons behind it. As you hear from a lot of the videos, when I go to close out the video, I tell you that the videos help me towards becoming a mom and a donor egg. So I kind of wanted to let you guys know a little bit about how that came to be, and so that you're aware, because I've had a few people ask me and I figured I'd just do a video. So it all started when a few years back, I got pregnant with my first baby, and myself and my husband at the time, or boyfriend at the time, decided to get married. Because, we were going to anyways, and I was pregnant, so why not? Well, the day of the wedding, I wound up losing my first baby while walking down the aisle. So that day I was marrying the man that I loved and losing my baby on the same day. It was heartbreaking, crushing, emotional. It was just one of the most happiest and difficult days of my life at the time. I spent our honeymoon in the emergency room, confirming the miscarriage, and they put me on. They put me on like all these tests and found out that it was in fact a miscarriage. So I had to go home and wait for it to happen. It was crushing. I never had wanted to be a mom. It didn't cross my mind. I wasn't, it wasn't something that I was looking for at that time. But after that, I wanted nothing more. Sorry if I get a little emotional. It's super emotional for me, this whole journey, and it's sometimes difficult to talk about it. So after the first miscarriage, I had lost my dad back in 2011, and I was very, very close with my dad. He's probably the one family member that I am the most close to, or was the most close to. We shared a lot in common. Well, when I had the miscarriage, I would have dreams at night, and I'll never forget this one night I had a dream that my dad, who was in a wheelchair, came to me and had this picture in his hand. It was like this little piece of paper, and he's like, "This is for you." And I took it and I looked at it and I said, "Who is she?" It was pictures, 9 little squares on one page of these small little square pictures of this little girl. She had this short brown bob cut and these like bob cut hair style and these big, beautiful brown eyes. And half of her face was like this behind a rock. In every single picture, it was like a boulder. I didn't understand why, but I said to him, I said, "She looks really familiar. Why do I know her?" And he said, "That's your daughter, Leah, Lea." And he spelled it for me. When I woke up from that dream, I knew that that was my little girl. And I knew my dad had her. And I had, myself and my husband at the time had never thought of that name. Like that name Leah just wasn't a name that we thought of. And we had talked names, but I knew that was her name. And I kind of wonder if the reason why she passed was because maybe something didn't develop properly up here, and that's why her face was hidden behind all the boulders, so it didn't scare me. I don't know. It was just one of those dreams that stuck with you, that will be with me for the rest of my life. I saw her. She's absolutely beautiful, and I know she's with my father, and I know he's taking very good care of her, and I'll meet her someday. So I picked up and I moved on from that. That was very difficult. I wound up pregnant again. 2 cycles had passed, and I wound up pregnant again naturally. And I was super excited again. I was like, this is it. It's going to happen. Um, so I went to my doctor's and she did an ultrasound. She wanted me in early because I was high risk. And they didn't see anything the first time, so I went back the second time, and because they had seen the sac. And when I went in, I have it on video somewhere, but she said to me, she's like, I said, do you see it? She said, I do. And I said, how's it look? And she said, there's nothing inside of it. It's not there. So the sac had formed, but no baby had formed inside. It was what they call a blighted ovum. And a blighted ovum is basically where your body produces everything to do with a baby. You feel pregnant, you act pregnant, everything pregnant, but there's no baby. So she left me with that. She was a very cold doctor. I didn't like her at all. No care at all. No bedside manner. I was with my friend at the time, and I was crushed. I was absolutely crushed that there was no baby. Again, I was reliving this. Only this time I didn't lose the baby. The baby just never formed. So I had to wait for the sac to pass, basically, almost like a miscarriage. Miscarriages aren't fun, by the way. They are very hard to handle at home. For everybody who's been through it, I'm sure you understand. It's not easy. And it's just very, very stressful and it's just not cool. So this one I had to actually wait for it to pass on its own. There was no way to attempt to try again or anything until it had passed. So a month went by and nothing, and they kept trying everything to get it to pass, and it wouldn't pass. So I wound up having to have a DNC. Well, that DNC happened on Valentine's Day. So now I've lost one on my wedding day and another memory on Valentine's Day. I was batting 1,000. I was so depressed. I didn't understand what was wrong with me, and I was just really sad. Well, one of our family members had been going through the same type of thing, and she decided to try fertility with the base doctors because my husband at the time was military. So I went ahead and looked into it and took the class and decided to sign up for the fertility clinic and see if they could help me and figure out why it was happening the way it was. So I went into the meeting. They accepted me into the program. I was blessed and grateful. The doctors were wonderful. The nurses were wonderful. Everybody was amazing. The compassion, the bedside manner, everything. So when I told them my story, they looked into it a little bit. They wound up having to do a surgery. The surgery was to remove this little piece of skin that was near the uterus, which sometimes can cause issues in getting pregnant. So they went ahead and removed that. We, kept attempting it naturally. At the time, nothing. So they decided to put us on injections. Now, the injections were into the stomach at certain times a day, and I'd have to do certain, types of mixing of different medicines and then inject into the stomach, which I have on my YouTube channel as well. It's actually under just Samantha Swinson, if anybody wants to check it out. Those were from my previous injections. So I went ahead and did all the injections. I tried all the medicines. They screwed up my system so bad. They made me gain weight. They made me moody. They made me everything. It was just like I had hormones that I didn't even know existed. It was a crazy time in my life. But I kept trying and trying. And even with the attempts that we tried naturally, that didn't work. So there was one time when I had to do what they call an IUI. I wound up doing quite a few IUIs. but it's intrauterine insemination. So we had frozen his sperm at a local fertility center, and basically they wash it, they clean it, they get rid of the junk, and they put in they keep only the good sperm. So any of the ones with like cone heads and stuff, those get kicked out. And they tested his sperm count. He was fine. So we tried an IUI. So I did the injections. And then when the time was right, my doctor called me because I'd have to go in almost every other day and have them run tests on me and draw blood and make sure that I was at that right peak where my levels had just like peaked to do the I can't remember what the name of it was. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a shot you give yourself right before you do the test, which causes your eggs to I can't remember the name of it. It's a I don't know, I have them in my fridge still. I have one in my fridge, I think. Anyways, it's a trigger shot. There it is. So I had to trigger at a certain time. So it's like this different type of medicine that you trigger with. And once you do that, you then the next morning wake up, go pick up your frozen sperm, bring it into your doctor's, and they insert it. So instead of normally during conception, the kids are dropped off down the street from the club, if you catch my drift. But with an IUI, they literally put it in and drop the kids off at the door. So all they have to do is open the door and walk in. So that's how it was explained to me once, and it was the best ever. So why not? So I did the IUI, and my husband at the time was not around. So I had to drive through a storm, a major storm, to have his buddy give me the trigger shot because I couldn't reach it in the top part of my back hip. So I had to drive through this massive like hurricane we were having to get it done at like 11 o'clock at night and trigger so that the next morning I could go and have the IUI done. So I did, and he gave me the shot. The next morning I went in and I had the IUI completed, and I laid there and I waited. And then I went home and I waited and prayed and hoped that it worked. And I got the phone call that said, "You're pregnant." And I was ecstatic. He was still gone at the time. So I did this crazy video to reveal to him that I was pregnant or we were pregnant, and it was finally going to happen. I was like, well, we bypassed all my issues and it's going to work. Right at about 3 months, I went in and I went for the video, for the ultrasound, and I saw the heartbeat. I saw it on the monitor. It was the prettiest thing ever. Sorry. So you could see the heartbeat. It was really cool. And I was super excited, but they acted a little different. I don't know. And they said, "We want you to come back in a couple days and we're going to check it again." I said, "Awesome." So I left there ecstatic because I saw the heartbeat and it was finally happening. And, sorry. When I went back in a couple days later, they did the test and the heartbeat was gone. There wasn't a heartbeat anymore. So they said that it unfortunately had failed, and the baby didn't survive. So I had to have, she offered me a couple different options, and I told her what happened the last time, how it took forever to leave my system. So she offered me I call them the abortion pill, but it's a It's a pill, my Cytotec, which causes it to leave your system. So we did a round of Cytotec. I wanted to do one more test before I took the Cytotec because I wanted to know in my head that it really was over. I didn't want to take the Cytotec to find out that maybe a miracle had happened and the baby started having a heartbeat again. So they completely understood and they said, absolutely, we can do that for you. So I went back in a couple days later and my levels had dropped and there was absolutely no baby anymore. That little bean-shaped thing was gone. So I took the Cytotec and nothing happened. And then eventually on round 2 of Cytotec, I was able to get it to complete partially. They still had to do a DNC on me because it wouldn't complete fully. So they did the DNC and I named her Alara. So I have little Leah and little Alara in heaven right now. And I'll meet them someday, I'm sure. But I found out the reason why is because, I'm 39 now. I apparently am perimenopausal at a young age. So anytime I get pregnant, I can only carry my eggs are basically dust. So I carry the baby for a short period of time and then they fail because they're not strong enough to thrive. So I went through a period of feeling like it was my fault that, the eggs weren't strong enough and it was my fault. And it was really difficult. It still is really difficult. Sorry, it's a crazy video, right? So, I went through a really tough time and I continued to try though after we wanted to try a few more times. So I tried a few more times while my husband at the time was deployed. And then some personal stuff happened when he came back from deployment, which I can't get into at the current moment. I'm sure I'll fill you in eventually when things are able to be spoken of. But I guess God has a reason for everything. Maybe there's a reason I didn't wind up pregnant, and that they didn't complete. So the only way I can get pregnant, the only way I can have a baby is I can carry, but I can't use my own eggs. So I need to use a donor egg. And so I need to purchase somebody's viable eggs and then have the procedure done where they're inserted inside me and I can actually carry them to term. So I can deliver the baby, but it won't be my eggs. It took me a while to realize that was okay. For the longest time, I was like, but that's not going to be my baby. And, there's none of my DNA. And it's a different concept to get used to. But once you get used to it, once you think about it and you realize that you're carrying that baby, it doesn't matter whether your actual DNA or all of your DNA gets passed to that child or not. You bond with that child. And once I realized that, like I said at the beginning of this video, I had never wanted to be pregnant. Never. But once I heard that heartbeat, saw that heartbeat, knew I was pregnant, it was just something I knew I had to have. There was no, well, maybe, or we'll see. I needed it. It needed to happen. And I'm not giving up. I still haven't given up. It's been several years. It's been about 5 years. I've tried numerous times, to the point where I stopped trying. Well, of course I stopped trying now. I don't have any way to, I have to have a donor egg. So I found a program who offers it. The problem is it's actually $38,000 for a donor egg, but they offer, if you can get accepted for a grant, it's $10,000 towards the grant, which helps you towards your egg. But then on top of it, you have to pay for all your doctor's visits and your medication and stuff like that. So it's very, very expensive. So quite a few years ago when this all started, I started hand making jewelry and making jewelry to raise money for the donor egg, or for IVF at the time, which I thought I was going to try. And I do that on Facebook. I make jewelry and sell it, at a very reasonable price, like between $3 and $10 a pair or a set, to raise money for the baby. And I've been doing that for years. I don't make a ton, but I'm able to stick a little to the side, and it just starts building up for that donor egg. So I then decided to start doing a YouTube channel. I was like, well, if I can get on YouTube and, I get these viewers, I start doing unboxings. I get some companies to back me with the boxes, and then, I can share my story with the world. You don't necessarily need, to have, anything like that, but just to have my story get heard and people to understand what it's like going through this meant a lot to me. So I figured, why not? I'll start a YouTube channel, and I did. And I don't have a ton of subscribers, and I don't have a ton of views on every video like you see out there, millions of views and stuff. But I'll tell you, it's probably one of my favorite things to do is to unbox a box or to share a review with you guys. It gets my mind off of things because things are so difficult right now. And things are stressful right now. I'm sure they'll calm down here in the next year. But I really, truly am hoping to become a mom sometime in 2021. It requires a lot of money, and a lot of things have to line up. So I'm praying and praying that it works. But that's pretty much why I did my YouTube channel, was to get my story out there, have other people hear what I went through, and if they wanted to follow me on my journey, they were welcome to. I don't know, and like I said, it brightens my day to unbox a box or to share a review with you guys. Even though I'm just talking to myself on a screen, I'm still talking to someone. I know you guys are listening, and if I make you smile for the day, that makes me happy. If I show you a product that you're like, oh, that's really cool, maybe I'll try that, or maybe I'll unbox that or sign up for that company, that makes me happy too. So anything to keep the stress level down at this point in time. But so that's why when I end my videos, I tell you, thanks for joining my journey into becoming a mom, and I'm working towards getting a donor egg. This is what it's all about. And every little thing I can do to get closer to that donor egg, I will. I won't give up. I don't have a time limit. I can be a mom at any age if I'm buying a donor egg and donor sperm. It's just a money thing. I don't know why this world's always money, but unfortunately, it's a money thing. So, hopefully I'll be able to share my whole journey with you guys, and maybe even share my pregnancy with you guys. Maybe next year, if things go the way I pray they do. Other than that, I hope you enjoy my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy my unboxings and my reviews for everything. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this is a tougher video, but I wanted to be real with you guys. I want you to know a little bit about me and what makes me tick, and my journey and my story. I'm sure everybody's got a story. Everybody has to deal with a lot. And I guess the saying is true. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It just makes me want it even more. I refuse to give up. I refuse to be told it can't happen. I will be a mom. There's nothing in this world I want more than to be a mom. So I thank you guys so much for joining me and for following me on my journey. If you have any questions or you want to say anything, feel free to leave it down below. You feel free to message me. Yeah. I know this has been a kind of a tough, icky video, but I hope you guys understand why I did it. And like I said, any questions at all, I'm always here, and I'm open to answering anything you guys throw at me. There's nothing that like I would be like, please don't ask me about that. I don't mind sharing my journey, and if anybody's going through the same thing and needs a shoulder to lean on, I've been there. I completely understand. And I would be grateful to be somebody that you can talk to. So don't ever think that you can't do it and that you have nobody, because I know you don't know me too well, but I'm here. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next unboxings. I hope you continue to join me throughout them and throughout my journey. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow or Monday with some more unboxings. I'm waiting on a few things to come in the mail. Some companies actually picked up and said that they would like to have me review their products. So that made me super happy. So keep an eye out for those videos. Until then, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for listening and being here for me and following me in my journey to be a mom. I'll see you guys next video. Have a wonderful night, guys. Bye, and thank you all so much for listening. Bye.